Hello, this is Mr. Jones, and I'm going to talk to you today about fractions, decimals, and percents. A percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. Therefore, you can write a percent as a fraction with a denominator of 100. So let's practice that. Let's say I have 5%. And I want to write that as a fraction. I just take the percent, which is 5, and write it over 100. And since it is a fraction, I want to make sure it's in simplified form, so I'm going to change that to 1 over 20. Make sure to simplify it. Let's try one more. Let's try 125%. So here I have 125%. I'm just going to write that as 125 over 100. Remember, denominator is going to be 100. So I'm going to simplify that, and that simplifies to 5 to 4. That is simplified, but you could also write that as a mixed number. So you could say 1 and 1/4. Next, I want to talk to you about writing a percent as a decimal. Last night I heard on the news that home ownership increased by 2.2% in the last 3 months. So 2.2%. Now, in math we don't normally do mathematical operations with percent. We're going to do mathematical operations with either fractions or decimals. That's why we need to know how to convert them to fractions or decimals. So in this case I want to change this to a decimal. Now when I divide by 100, I'm basically going to be moving the decimal place 2 places to the left. So I'm going to do that 2 places to the left. And so that would be, put a 0 right there when you have an empty space there. So 2.2% written as a decimal would just be 0.022. Now I want to try writing a number as a percent, so writing a decimal or a fraction as a percent. Let's take the number 0.333. Now to write that as a percent, I'm going to move the decimal places 2 places to the right. Now remember, on the previous problem we moved it 2 places to the left, changing a percent to a decimal. Now to change a decimal to a percent, I'm going to move it 2 places to the right. So 0.333 written as a percent would be 33.3%. Now let's write a fraction as a percent. Let's take the fraction 7 over 80. Now it would be easy to change it to a percent if it was over 100, but since it's not, the easiest thing to do is to change this to a decimal. And 7 divided by 80 does come out to 0.0875. So now that I have it written as a decimal, it would be easy to change that to a percent. Again, I'm going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right. So 1, 2, and that will leave me with 8.75%. Let's work one more problem. Here's the problem. About 45% of the people in the United States have type O blood. Write this percent as a decimal and a fraction. So let's start off 45%. Let's first write it as a decimal. So I'm going to move the decimal 2 places to the left. So 1, 2. So 45% is 0.45 as a decimal. Now let's write it as a fraction. So I'm going to take the percent number 45 and put it over 100, and I'm going to simplify. So 45 over 100 is 9 over 20. So 45% written as a decimal is 0.45 and 9/20 as a fraction.